The awesome Lincoln Kennedy played 121 games with the Raiders with 119 starts, thank you very much, over the course of 8 years. He's gone on to be an outstanding broadcaster. Wouldn't it make sense that he could write a book about some of his experiences?
Yeah, he's got some stories. He's going to tell them in the book called If
Yeah.
These Walls Could Talk. Raiders, Lincoln Kennedy joining us now from his home studio. How are you, sir? Good to talk to you.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate being here.
It's so great to have you. You know, let's talk about your career. Obviously, a player for many years. You made this pivot into the broadcasting world, doing really well. And now, author. What inspired you to put pen to paper here?
You know, it's really somewhat of a short story. For years since I've retired, a number of friends have, come to me and say, you should write a book, you should write a book. But I've always been one of those guys that never really thought that I had a true voice or anybody would really pay attention, mainly because I was an offensive lineman. Most of the time when you see books being written, you see them by, these star point guards or star players or Hall of Famers and stuff like that, or even quarterbacks. But as an offensive lineman, I didn't think anybody really wanted to hear my story. And then Paul Gutierrez from ESPN, my co-writer, and I got together and he said, you really do have some interesting stories. I've heard them over the years. He's like, you should put them all in a book. And I said, look, I'm not one to spread people's business, so we're not going to name names. I'm not going to throw people under the shade and stuff like that. A lot of stuff happened over my career in the National Football League. And I saw a lot of things, but I'm not going to put people's business out there. And he's like, no. Just let's tell it from the standpoint of what it means to be a Raider. And that caught my ear. That really did. It was like, what it means to be a Raider. Because, look, there's a saying that we have in the Raiders, there are 31 other teams in the National Football League, and then there are the Las Vegas Raiders. So they're their own story in itself. So by telling my side of a number of stories that affected my career, during my career, I just wanted to include a lot of people like Jim Otto and Tim Brown, Steve Wisniewski, guys that I played with. Not Jim Otto, but Pops was one of my heroes. And obviously, and not obviously, but talk about the story of what it meant for me to work for Al Davis and the Raiders back when they were in Oakland, but still a proud family today, even as they make the transition to Vegas.
You're talking about. You're talking about the Raiders being a different team, and like you started your career with the Falcons, and you're like, okay, finally, man, in the NFL, I'm in the dance. This is great. What is it about the Raiders organization that, like, I don't want to say a cult, that's not the word, but it is a different it is a different thing for the fans, for the players. Once you're in, you are in.
It really is a different world. I only had the privilege of playing for two organizations, but they were polar opposites. When I came in the league in 1993, I was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons. I was introduced to the Five Smiths. That was the ownership group. And then we were playing in the Georgia Dome. And I remember going into games where we had visiting teams, fans outnumber our home teams, and just scratching my head, what could it be? And back in that day, the Falcons were in the same division as the 49ers and the Rams. And so there were, we were hitting our heads against those two teams, and not really, the 49ers were having a lot of success in that time. So we didn't really see a lot of success on the field. But when I got traded over to the Falcons, it's something that I welcomed for two reasons. One, they were moving out of LA, which I thought was a big distraction, back to Oakland, which I thought their true fan base was in line. And because I grew up in San Diego, I knew all about that sort of fan base. But the moment I was welcomed in, one moment I got to Oakland, I was welcomed as a part of the family. Al Davis came up to me and he talked to me more about my personal family, my off the field family, my wife and my kids, than he did about on field stuff. And that resonated with me initially. Awesome. And then going through the organization, meeting people like Amy Trask and Mark Bourdain, who were there back in the day, it was like a family. It was like an extended family. Then game day, we used to call Halloween on Hagenberger because everybody would come dressed up. But on game day, the fans were raucous. They were out there, just enjoying themselves and taking full part of being a part of the whole game day spectacle. When we got good, it was the biggest ticket in the Bay Area. I mean, if you weren't at a Raider game party and the tailgating and everything else, you were really missing out. And so from that point on, it just felt like home, and it felt like I started to bleed silver and black.
Hey, speaking of home, we just have about 20 seconds left, Lincoln, but the new home now is Las Vegas. So tell me your take on the move here. I know that the fans are parked in front of Allegiant. They're pre-gaming. I see them. It's all happening. So the fan base has moved here. What's the move been like for you?
Oh, it's been totally wonderful. I'm so happy for the organization. They finally have a true home. a facility that's state of the art, a stadium that's absolutely beautiful and wonderful. And believe me, it will be a home field advantage for years to come. I am so happy for the organization because for a long time coming, I remember when Al Davis was alive, we used to talk extensively about they were going to get a stadium deal done. They were going to get a stadium deal done. The Coliseum back in Oakland was dilapidated and worn down, needed to be redone badly.
Still is.
They got it done in Vegas. The transition is beautiful, and I'm happy for the team.
Awesome. And we're happy for you, my friend. The book is called If These Walls Could Talk, Raiders, and it's great to talk to you. Thank you so much, Lincoln.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
By the way, where do we pick up the book?
Oh, you can pick it up at Amazon.com or Triumph Books. I got a copy here. I hold it the right way, but yeah, got a copy here. This is the title we're looking for, and it should be fun. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Awesome. And we've enjoyed having you on the show. Pick up that book. It's called If These Walls Could Talk, Raiders. Pick it up on Amazon from Lincoln Kennedy. Great guy.